Hello and welcome to Kaleidoscope Teen Radio, which is the podcast for Kaleidoscope Teen Magazine. Kaleidoscope Teen Magazine is an online magazine and digital platform made for and by girls of color. I'm your host, Gabriella Aline, and I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of Kaleidoscope Teen Magazine. This podcast is in our 8th issue, and the theme is colorism and Black History Month. In this issue, we are featuring accomplished Black women through our podcast interviews that I believe we can all learn from and look up to. The guest for this episode is Stephanie Bell. Stephanie Bell is a media producer and journalist who specializes in photography and video production. I'm so excited to have her here to talk about her career journey and life.
Yay!
Alrighty. Hi, Stephanie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm really excited for this episode to talk to you all about your journey and your career and everything because it sounds so interesting. We can start with college. So where did you attend college?
So I started college at Santa Monica College. There I studied film and communications and media. And I did all of my basic college courses at Santa Monica College. And then I transferred to Loyola Marymount University for journalism.
Okay. So you studied journalism at LMU. And then I know you also created like a documentary defending our crowns while you were there.
Yes.
What inspired that documentary?
Wow, I feel like so much. My whole life, really. I love hair. I love talking about Black hair. I actually went to cosmetology school while I was in high school. So I've always been passionate about the topic of hair, just in general, whether I was doing hair or just looking at it. I got the idea based off of a lot of things that was going on in Hollywood and noticing how there was a lot of issues of hair discrimination in the media and how oftentimes you would see Black women wearing their hair in more straight styles, or they were made fun of for wearing their hair in their natural state. So I figured that it would be a good topic to discuss because it was a very major issue within the media industry at that time, and it's still currently an issue as well.
Yes, that's definitely very important today. When you left college, did you go straight into what you're doing now? And did anything in college like help you in your journey to discovering what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I can say that being at Santa Monica College helped me to define a bit of what the core of what I wanted to do as a career, because that's where I first learned about film and I started taking film courses there, and that's when I really fell in love with the art of creating. And then at LMU, I actually studied journalism instead of film, so that was kind of um, a different area for me to learn, and kind of I felt like I was restarting at some points because it was so different from film. But towards the end, I was able to combine journalism and film together with that Defending Our Crowns documentary. So college definitely helped me to find my career path. And right now, I'm actually still in the process of like getting on that path. Like now I'm just on the job hunt. I've been doing photography and shooting some video freelance, but I'm still kind of figuring it out.
That's really great to hear because I'm trying to, as a freshman at LMU, I'm still trying to figure out like what I want to do. And I feel like I change or like add more things on every single day, trying to like figure out what I want to do after college. So that's pretty reassuring to hear that it's a journey and it's a process and you never really stop learning what you want to do and discovering like how you want to do that.
It definitely is. Sure.
How did you become a media producer and journalist? Like, what was kind of your path to that?
So I became a media producer through an internship that I did with a hair company. I actually started shooting photography and creating YouTube videos for myself just for fun while I was in college. And that led to me becoming a brand ambassador for a hair company. And while I was working with them, I was creating like influencer, blogger type of content for social media. And I asked if I could be an intern as a video editor for them. And they said yes. So I started working with them as a video editing intern. And then that led to me becoming a part time employee with them. And they gave me the title of media producer. So I just ran with
Ooh.
it. And then as far as journalism, one of my professors said that once we start journalism school and we submit that first assignment, we're officially journalists. So when I started journalism school, I said, I'm a journalist now.
I love that. What are some brands that you've worked with as like a media producer?
So I've worked with a hair company called Rastafi Braid. That's like the main brand that I've been working with for the past few years. I've also worked with like Shea Moisture. I actually worked with them as a brand ambassador. So I wasn't necessarily like their media producer, but I was still creating content for them. I created content for TGIN, which is Thank God It's Natural, another hair company. Let's see, who else? Was featured on BT with Rastafi Braid. We did a sponsorship with them, which was really cool. So I got to edit a video for them. So yeah, it's been kind of like all over the place, but I've been getting a lot of cool opportunities just to create content for other people.
That's really, really amazing. I would love to work with Shea Moisture.
Yeah, they gave me so many products. It was great.
What has been your favorite piece of content you've created for a brand?
Ooh, I think the video that I edited for Rastafi Braid and BET, that was really cool because I actually got to put together like a photo shoot specifically for that sponsorship. And I got to shoot the video. I got to take the photos that were used for promotion, and they actually played the video at the BET Experience, which is the day before the BET Awards. So they played it on the runway where people were performing, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool! Look at my work on the big screen." I wasn't even able to be there and see it in person, but people sent me videos of it, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
That's so cool! Oh my gosh. What have been some challenges you've faced working as a media producer, creating content, as a journalist?
For me, the challenge is just like finding work and getting paid. Just because a lot of things that I do have been freelance, and if I don't like out these jobs for myself, people aren't necessarily coming to me for work. Like I have to reach out to them and find different people who may be in need of some content creation, or people who may be in need of like an article to be written for their platform. So the hardest part is really just finding the people who need something and actually having them to pay you to create for them, because a lot of times people don't want to pay. It sucks, but you know, it's really a hustle until you build a really big name for yourself, or until you're working for someone full time. So it's kind of like you have to really dig and find opportunities for yourself.
How have you been finding those opportunities? Like, do you do like research before, or do you see what comes up on your Instagram?
Yeah, social media is really where I find everything. I DM brands, I DM people, and really just ask like, hey, I noticed that you may need some photos for your brand, or I noticed that you have a blog and you might need someone to write something for you. Are you interested in working together? Or asking people if they're interested in collaborating, using LinkedIn and finding different people who work in the marketing area and messaging them, seeing if they need work or if they need help with work. Emailing editors, especially with journalism, seeing if they are accepting pitches for articles and stuff like that.
Okay. What have been some successes you've had recently?
Well, recently winning the Shoe Dazzle grant.
Yes.
Yes. That was like the biggest thing ever. I won a $25,000 grant from Shoe Dazzle to use as a creative. So that was super amazing. Couldn't believe that. I also won another grant that I haven't been able to share yet, but that was like just another one on top of another one. So I think that's like the biggest success, is to be able to receive so much after graduating, so that I don't
Mhm.
have to like just accept any old job that comes to me. Like I actually have room to breathe and pick a job that I actually want and actually love, instead of just choosing whatever because I need the money. So that's helpful.
Con- Congratulations on that second grant.
Thank you.
What is your favorite thing about what you're doing now?
Whew, what is it? Right now I'm stressed. um, I think my favorite thing is seeing the vision come to life. So at the end, once you go through the process of like getting the creative direction and sourcing all the talent that you need, or all the props that you need, or the products that you need to bring the vision to life, once you see it edited together, whether it's a video or a photo or whatever, just being able to see it and to know that we took it from a concept to like something that's real. That's my favorite part, is being able to see the end result.
Yes. That's so interesting because like hearing you talk about being a media producer is kind of like that kind of aligns with something I want to do
Yeah.
after college. I'm really like interested in like content creation, and because I've had like a YouTube channel and been like making content for social media for a while, that is actually like really like inspiring to hear because it's so interesting like hearing your journey. Um, and like when I'm making content, I like totally agree with you. Like seeing like your idea like coming into fruition and like seeing all of your hard work in that end result is so rewarding. And
Yeah.
that's definitely like one of my favorite parts about like making content like that.
It's an amazing feeling, right?
Yes, definitely. What inspires your creativity when you're like on your own or like in content creation?
Hmm. That's a tough question. I'm still trying to figure that out. I know that I'm inspired by other people's work for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just going through Pinterest and Instagram and seeing um, the new trends and what people are doing inspires me. But also just the culture in general, and just history, and just knowing that, or not knowing, but seeing how time progresses and how things have changed, but also how so much stuff hasn't changed. And you can kind of look back at the past and the present now and create something that's like a mixture of both. So I think culture and history inspires me as well.
I love that. What's something you wish you knew before entering your profession?
Ooh, I think I wish I knew that it wasn't going to be like a straight track,
Mm,
because when you're in high school, people expect you to go to college for 4 years, graduate, and start working,
mm-hmm,
doing whatever that you went to college for. But in reality, it's like, okay, I went to community college for 3 years, transferred, went to university for 3 years, and studied something totally different than what I studied at community college. And then I graduated and I'm doing something that's not even related to what I got my degree in. So it's like, I just wish I knew that there's there's a lot of different ways that you can go in your career, and it doesn't have to be just straight track. And you
mm-hmm.
can also change your mind. You can also try different things. You can have your degree in one thing, but also practice something else on the side.
This kind of goes along with the question before, but what advice would you give your younger self?
Mm, let's see. What would I tell my younger self? don't worry about how things are going to turn out, I guess. I always wondered, like, okay, what am I going to do? This is still something I could tell myself now. But like, I always wondered, okay, well, what is my career going to be? What am I going to do after I graduate college? But as we both know, since this whole pandemic happened, like, we never know what is going to come next. And you can be so focused on getting to one point and not realize that so much stuff can change on the way there. So if you're worrying about the end point, you may not even have to worry about it because you may never see that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I guess, control the anxiety, don't overthink, don't worry about the future, and just enjoy life, enjoy the journey while you're in
I definitely need to take that advice.
it. It's hard.
um,
It's hard to do. Even I have to remind
yeah.
myself sometimes.
Um, One last advice question. What advice would you give someone trying to get where you are today?
Build connections, and I feel like that's so cliche. I hate it when people told me that, but that's real. Like, the connections are what's gonna get you the jobs. There's so many opportunities that come from just knowing someone. You can fill out all of these job applications, but if you know someone, they can get you a job faster than a job application. So
Hmm.
definitely build your connections in your field, get to know people, and always build across. So stick with the people who are with you in college now, and build those connections while you're in school, so that when you're all in the working world after college, you can pick on, or not pick on one another, but you can like pull from each other's sources.
Okay, so we also, as you like heard before, this issue's theme is colorism. And so I have some questions about that. Is colorism something you're aware of in your everyday life?
It is. And I think I'm more aware of it because of the media, not
Mhm.
necessarily because of like my personal life, but I am aware of it just based off of the celebrities that I see on the covers of magazines, or who the lead characters are in TV shows and movies, or who the most popular pop stars and singers or rappers are. So it is very, very prevalent within the media in our everyday lives.
Have you had any experiences with colorism growing up or as an adult?
Growing up, I think colorism was such a big issue, especially in like middle school,
Hmm.
because there's always that, or there was always a battle of like the light skin versus dark skin. And at a young age, you kind of learn that, or at least I learned that light skin was better. The light skinned girls were the prettiest girls. Light skinned guys had like their own stereotypes with them as well. And if
Hmm.
you were darker skin, you were made fun of. So I think that growing up as a kid, colorism was definitely something that I was introduced to, but I didn't know what it was or what it meant.
Um, Last question. How has colorism impacted your life? Or has it had like a significant impact?
I don't think colorism has had a significant impact on me personally, but I do believe that it does impact like the perception of what is acceptable, perceptions of what is good and what is bad, and
Hmm.
you can easily fall into the trap of stereotypes just off of what we're taught through the media. So I think that's one way that it does affect me, and I have to be very careful and conscious not to believe in those stereotypes and to continue to try to break those stereotypes down.
Yes. Okay. Those were all of my questions. Yay. So I want to thank you so much, Stephanie, for coming on this podcast and talking with me today. This was such a great discussion. And I feel like I learned so much from you and your advice and your career journey. And it was so inspiring. So thank you so, so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Oh, you can now use this time to shout out your social media, let people know where to find you.
Okay, yes. So you can follow me at XO That's my personal page. You'll see that I'm posting a lot of creative content there, but on my business page at by Stephanie Bell, that's BY Stephanie Bell, that's where I post all of my photography work and my videography work as well. And my website is www.stephbproductions.com.
So I want to thank you all for listening. You might be watching this on our YouTube channel or listening to us on our podcast. Oh my goodness. And my voice went.
That's all right. That's all right. Hydrate.
Hydrate. We got to rehydrate. Alrighty. So I want to thank you all for listening. You might be watching this on our YouTube channel or listening to us on our podcast. You can listen to more podcast episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you search Kaleidoscope Teen Radio, or on our YouTube channel, Kaleidoscope Teen Magazine. Make sure you subscribe to our online magazine, podcast, and follow us on Instagram at Kaleidoscope Teen. All of our social media links and Stephanie's social media links will be in the description box. Bye.
Bye.
Yay, we did it.
Yay, that was great. I love it.